Now, the Israeli army is seizing large areas of the Gaza Strip, expanding what it describes as buffer zones. That's according to Israel's Defence Minister Israel Katz. He posted a video message from inside Gaza at the newly announced Morag corridor, which has split Gaza between the southern cities of Rafah and Khan Younis. It follows Israeli media reporting that the Israel Defence Forces is planning to seize and keep the entire city of Rafah. It's estimated a land grab this large could consume around 1/5 of the Gaza Strip. Here's the Defence Minister speaking from Gaza.
The population of Gaza is evacuating from the fighting zones, and large areas are being seized and added to Israel's security zones, leaving Gaza smaller and more isolated. We are working to advance the voluntary immigration plan for Gaza residents in accordance with the U.S. President's vision, which we are working to realize.
Meanwhile, an Israeli airstrike on a residential building east of Gaza City killed at least 29 Palestinians early on Tuesday. Those figures coming from the local hospital. Images reviewed by the BBC confirm children were among those killed in the attack on the neighborhood. The Israeli military said it struck a senior Hamas terrorist whom it did not identify and said it was to minimize civilian harm. A man who lived in that home paused rescue efforts for a moment to give this message to a journalist from Reuters.
They have nothing to do with the fighting. They are children. They are innocent. They are women staying at their homes. They have nothing to do with it. Why would they hit them? What does it take to get these people from under the rubble? There are no resources, no tractors, no machines. There is nothing. What do we do? This guy is trapped under the ceiling and we cannot reach him.
Earlier, I spoke to Miriam Larousi, emergency coordinator in Gaza for Doctors Without Borders. Israel says that it has a new strategy in its war against Hamas to divide up Gaza and seize more territory there. There's been military strikes, but what does that mean and look like on the ground?
What it means on the ground is receiving a phone call from a colleague telling you, I have to leave my place right now with all my family because the Israelis are going to target my building. And waiting to receive a phone call back to know if he's alive or not. It's also learning the same day that the whole family of one of your colleagues passed away after an Israeli shelling. It's also what happened exactly yesterday night, a shelling 300 meters away from our clinic in El Mawasi that caused the deaths of dozens of people, and we received about 7 wounded persons, like really badly wounded, and 2 dead people, including a child, 2 years old. This is what we call the reality in Gaza. We're talking about that kind of level of violence. And this is just the last 24 hours. The shelling is day and night. It's all through Gaza. It also means evacuation notice for large number of population that being forcibly displaced from one minute to the other. How does it reduce? It means taking all your belongings, all your family, and you have to leave to wherever you can, under a tent, and see what's going to happen. Maybe that place will be safer, maybe not. And the Gazans today have been displaced like for 9 out of 10 of them, more than 10 times. This is unprecedented. This is strongly illegal. Israel is not respecting the international humanitarian law. And his ally have to force them in a way or another to abide by the law.
And Miriam, what is the biggest need for your teams on the ground?
Look, it's been now 1 month that the blockade is ongoing when it comes to all humanitarian aid entering inside of Gaza, as well as all the commercial goods. It means that right now there is a strong lack of food inside of all Gaza Strip. The food distribution are scarce, and this provokes already a loss of weight in our patients. When it comes to medical supplies, we're already lacking medical supply. We have to change courses of treatment and get to the point of having courses of treatment that are not the best for our patient because we don't have all the molecules that we would need. We have had a hard time treating non-communicable disease such as diabetes, as epilepsy due to lack of stock. Also, we're lacking painkillers, so we have to do dressing to our patient without painkillers. So it's really all through the scope. On the top of it, you know that Israel decided also on the 9th of March to cut the electricity coming from Israel to Gaza, and therefore reducing very strongly the access to water inside of Gaza. So right now, hygiene is also an issue. There is no potable water, not enough to cover the need of all the population, which leads also, as the lack of water, to hygiene issues. We're seeing now more and more cases of scabies, and this goes increasing by the day because there is no water, but also a lack of hygiene product on the market. So the border has to reopen, and Israel is the occupant power in all this conflict, and they have right now to let the humanitarian aid and commercial good enter back into Gaza.
And Miriam, in terms of getting a ceasefire back, what are you hoping for to get these negotiations back on track?
We can only hope for that. We can only call for the respect of the humanitarian law on both sides. And there's no other way than a ceasefire to go back to resume the humanitarian aid at the scale that it should be. And we're so far from the scale that it needs, that the Gaza need today to go back to what we can call eventually at some point maybe a normality.